everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Explore the Spectrum. I'm your host, Janetta Bryant, and today we are joined with Dr. Rebecca Evanko. How are you doing today?
Fine, thanks, Janetta. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm glad that you're here. I don't often get to speak with folks that are doing and participating in running centers for equine therapy. And I know that there are great success stories that are associated with it. But how did you find yourself getting into this field of study?
We started literally 5 years ago with a laptop in a living room and an idea. We wanted to provide services for autistic people and combine our love of horses and what we know about horses in terms of being able to help people.
There's something that is magical about spending time on a ranch and your horses. I think that every person that's ever gone and been able to even pet or stand next to or walk a horse has felt that feeling. And I know that our kids are even more susceptible to feeling the calm that a horse can bring. What are some of the different success stories that you've seen unfold while utilizing this?
Well, one thing I do want to say is that Wilderwood has multiple mission pillars, if you like. Children are one of the areas that we serve. One example I can give you from a child who came to spend time with us is she was terrified of dentists. Her mother told us that she would spend 4 hours struggling at a dentist. And when she first came here, she was terrified of the horses. But there was an affinity with them, and she established a connection with one of our oldest horses and got to the point where she was actually sitting on him and riding him. And at the end of the program, her mother came to us, big smile on her face, and I said, what's up? And she said, I just took my daughter to the dentist. It took 30 minutes. And I said, really? What changed? And she said, well, the dentist asked my daughter the same thing. And my daughter said, if I can ride Odie, which is our old horse, I can do anything. So that was a really nice connection, a nice win there. So, yeah.
That is a huge win. And, I jumped into that because I know that our kids really do expand and they grow and they develop in these beautiful ways when exposed to some of these horses. But could you give a crash course for anybody that's not familiar with what equine therapy is? Can you help us understand it a little better for somebody that's new to the idea?
Yes and no, because our program is not typical equine therapy. As I said, there are multiple components to it, but I think I'll give you an example of a very recent news story about Donald Triplett. He was the first person diagnosed in the United States with autism by Leo Kanner himself. And Mr. Triplett died this week. And when he was born, he had quite wealthy parents and they couldn't do anything with him. So they put him into a home for the first year of his life. And at the age, he was 4 when he went into the home. Wasn't progressing, so they took him out of the home and sent him to live with a childless couple on a farm. Well, long story cut short, Mr. Triplett ended up going to university, studying French, singing a cappella in the university choir, and established a great career in banking as an accountant. And we attribute that to the time that he spent on the farm with horses. And we've seen similar changes taking place. My own story involved horses from childhood, and it literally saved my life. And that's outlined in my memoir, but suffice to say, there is an innate connection, we believe, between autistic people and horses. And we have a philosophy that's called hortism, which is a neologism of the word horses and autism.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Now, make mention then, tell us the keen difference. You've mentioned now a couple times that you're not necessarily perfectly aligned with equine therapy. So what makes your facility and how you go about doing things a bit different than what we might have associated it with?
Well, we have a retreat for autistic adults that does involve the horses, but it's not getting on the horse and doing typical movement, and which might be more associated with an occupational therapist. We have a children's program that looks specifically at social emotional learning from an autistic perspective. We have equine experiences where people just come and stand and be with the horses. We have guided walk and talk coaching, and we also have a research component to our program that is the first to develop a brand new assessment instrument that's currently in diagnostic trial to better assess autistic women, LGBTQ people, non-binary, and transgender communities. So very diverse program and very diverse mission.
Oh, it sounds like it. I'm encouraged to hear all of the work that you're doing. If someone wants to support your efforts or reach out to you so that they can learn more about your story and how impactful your organization is in the community itself, how can they reach out to you? What's the best method?
Best method is the webpage, wilderwoodequinetherapy.org. We're also pretty active on Facebook, not so much Instagram, but yeah, those are the two big places.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for working with our kids and continuing to push us forward and propel us into new ideas and new ways of helping support the community. And to all of our viewers, thank you so much for continuing to learn all the ways that we can explore the possibilities.